Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh, your UCLA Bruins Insider. Follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X, and also follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Today we're going to be looking at a few different things. First, we're going to be previewing Saturday afternoon's matchup at the Intuit Dome, home of the Los Angeles Clippers, for the men's basketball team. Head coach Mick Cronin's group taking on number 14 Gonzaga. Bruins currently ranked number 22 in the country. It's a huge matchup for UCLA. Coming off a loss to UNC where they blew a late lead, they're in bounce-back mode, and their final non-conference game before they finish out the rest of the season in the Big Ten. After that, we're going to mention a few big commitments that have come through the transfer portal over the last couple of days as everybody's kind of enjoyed their holiday. We're going to catch you up on all the different recruits that are going to be in Westwood next year. First, we'll start off with the hoops. Coming in, it's going to be the 9-3 Zags taking on your 10-2 Bruins. Bruins had a 9-game winning streak going. They had it snapped against UNC. That was on the road at Madison Square Garden in New York a week ago last Saturday. And now they're going to be in a bounce-back spot, and they're playing a much better team. Now, UNC's no slouch. They're a good program and got talented players, but also, Gonzaga, number one scoring offense in the country, averaging just under 90 points a game. It's about 89.5, somewhere above that. Incredible, considering, the Bruins only put together about 78 points per game. But the really cool thing about this matchup is you have the number one offense in the country from the Bulldogs facing the seventh best defense in the country from the Bruins. Bruins are only allowing a tick upwards of 58 points per game. I know they've played a lot of slouch opponents, but they've also played some good teams. They held Arizona to 54 points. They held the North Carolina Tar Heels to 10 points under their total. UNC was averaging about 84, 86. They only finished with 76 in the win. So it's going to be either up to this Bruins team to shoot the lights out or be able to lock down and play some defense against Gonzaga. When you look at a few of their top players, Graham Ike, averaging 15.5 points per game. He's a big forward, 6.5 rebounds. That's kind of where he runs his game, inside the paint, picking up boards, put back jumpers. Braden Huff, he's been pretty solid, especially from three-point range. He's about shooting 60% from the field, just over 25% from deep, averaging 12.7 a game. Khalif Battle, he's a guard. By the way, Braden Huff, another forward. Not the size of Graham Ike, just a little bit less, but still controls down low. As we mentioned, Khalif Battle and Ryan Nembhard, those are two huge guards for this team that are very, very, very solid. Battle, 12.5 points per game. Shooting the ball from deep at about 34.5%, a little bit lower when it comes to field goals in comparison to the last two guys we talked about. Battle's only shooting about 42% from the field. Nembhard, he's been on, the Nembhards have been a part of college basketball for quite some time now with Andrew and now Ryan. Andrew now in the NBA. But Ryan's averaging just under 12 points a game. He's got 40% from deep, 43% from the field. He is kind of the commander, the quarterback of that offense. He leads the team in assists, distributes the ball like nobody else, averaging 10.2 assists per game. And he's also averaging 2 steals per game. So, he's affecting the contest not only in scoring, because he's grabbing nearly 12 points a game, but he's dishing the rock. He's averaging a double-double, as we're mentioning, and 2 steals a game. That's right about where Kobe Johnson for the Bruins has been sitting. So that's kind of the number one guy you got to watch out for is Ryan Nembhard, and then also Braden Huff, Graham Ike, the two big guys down low. Gonzaga, they haven't played in a little while. Last time they played was last Saturday against Bucknell, won by a little over 30 points, or 20 points, I'm sorry. And this is a good response. They had a couple of ranked losses. Fell to Kentucky back at the beginning of the month, who was ranked 4th. And then the very next game, which was a week later, lost to number 18, UConn, by 6. So being able to grab a few wins here against Nichols and Bucknell, those are not very, tough opponents for this Gonzaga team, but they handled business, took them both down, and now their most competitive game since that UConn loss is going to be against the Bruins on the 28th. So it's going to be about the defensive effort for this Bruins team. Can they defensive rebound? Can they draw turnovers? Can they get past deflections? I'm looking at senior Kobe Johnson to lead the way in those categories, trying to affect the game defensively, and then everybody else will follow suit and try to replicate the same performances that Kobe gives on a nightly basis. By the way, Johnson, last 3 games, 3 steals apiece. So expect that same sort of total there, and hopefully the entire team can buy in and keep this Gonzaga team off the board. Maybe hold them to a little. I mean, they haven't scored anything under 70 this year. 71 is their lowest total. So if they can hold them to about 70, 71, Bruins can get the job done. Transitioning over to football now, there's a few guys that we're going to talk about today. A lot of transfers. We're going to talk about 4 of them. You got a guy from Arizona State, defensive back Cole Martin. He committed to the Bruin program a couple days ago from Pasadena, California. He was playing at ASU for the last year, played his first season of ball at Oregon, so he's currently going to be a junior after playing his sophomore year. Not a lot of time for Cole, just played in 2 games, totaled 4 tackles, 1 pass defense, and that's pretty much all his time was there in Tempe. And he was looking for a new spot, and he's found it. But this is just another solid defensive back that the Bruins are putting on their team. I mean, we've covered 5 or 6 now safeties and cornerbacks to join this Bruins program because, I mean, that was their glaring issue this year. So I'm glad that they're targeting that in the portal. And a good start here with a fresh new set of commitments from the portal, starting with Cole Martin. Another guy in the secondary that's going to be coming over to Westwood from Utah Tech. It's Scooter Jackson. He's out of Compton, California. So, I mean, you're noticing a trend here, especially with the transfers we've talked about before. Different guys that are California natives may have gone out of state to play. And then when they're looking to transfer UCLA, they're looking to pick up the pieces with those guys and bring them to Westwood and play at the Rose Bowl. 30 tackles, 4 pass defenses, and 1 interception this past year for Scooter Jackson over with the Trailblazers of Utah Tech. And just another really strong guy to add to this program. He's going to be going into his 3rd year after 2 seasons at UTU. And he's not the only those 2 guys aren't the only cornerbacks to be joining the squad. It's going to be Robert Stafford going into his sophomore year. He's currently a freshman at the University of Miami and Melbourne, Florida. So he's going to be a long way from home trying to come over and play for the Bruins. Played in just 5 games this year, did Stafford. Totaled 7 tackles, picked up 1 pass defense as well. Wasn't able to log any sacks or interceptions. But, I mean, he had very limited time on the field. This is another really, really, really talented player that you add to the team. I mean, anybody that goes and plays for Miami, I mean, they're a stud. So at 5'11", $175, he's a little undersized for his position, but at the same time, I think he's got good speed. Saw a little bit of clips from him on YouTube and his ability to blanket coverage as a corner. Stafford's going to be a huge asset as well to this team. And one other guy that's a linebacker coming from Oregon State, the former conference of the Bruins, Isaiah Chisholm. He was a freshman this past year out of Santa Clarita, California. After 2 seasons with the Beavers, he's trying to come back home and be a Bruin. 75 total tackles this past season with a forced fumble as well. Was not a blitzer, didn't have any sacks, wasn't able to really drop back into coverage either as he did not have any interceptions. But that 1 forced fumble, that's big stuff. So you're seeing the early impact that Isaiah had as a freshman, redshirted his first year in 2023. And this is a big pickup for the Bruins, considering, I mean, we've covered Isaiah in the past a couple of weeks ago, talking about how he can be an asset in the middle of that defense without guys like Kane Medrano, Oluwafemi Oladipo, Carson Schlesinger. He declared for the NFL draft. Losing your core in the middle of the defense, having Chisholm is going to be a big, big, big piece. That's going to do it for us here on the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast on Sports Illustrated from the Fans First Sports Network. My name is Tom Cavanaugh. Follow me once again at TCAV30 on Twitter/X, and also follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow as we recap the Bruins and the Gonzaga Bulldogs at the Intuit Dome, home of the LA Lakers, later on Saturday night. Thanks so much.